So for the people that are listening to us to this, we're starting this new segment called Check It Up. John's going to break down the details of what's to come and what you can expect for when we do this in future episodes.
So this is going to be our own unique style, where we've done NFL or NBA trivia, and we've had weird, fun facts that we present to one another, and it's just stuff that end the episode. It could be a funny, like a unique thing you see on Instagram. Like the other day, I was scrolling, and I've actually Zach Schrommler has a podcast. He posted it, and he kind of had his own segment talking about it. Do you guys know that this is a totally different sport? But one of them was Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. They played. This is kind of crazy. In 3 years, they played less games than Klay Thompson and Steph Curry this last season. That's a completely different sport, but it's a weird fun fact like that per se. And we'll talk about that. We'll go into NFL trivia. It'll be a 7 to 15 minute segment where we kind of have a unique flavor. Do you guys have a trivia question today? One of you?
I don't have a trivia question either.
Okay, well I've got a unique one. So this one's fun. This is actually it's not when I say an NFL legend, it actually is an NFL legend. Um, yeah, and believe it or not, I won't give away the position. So, 7 time Pro Bowler drafted in 1976 in the fourth round by the Houston Oilers, but he didn't spend his career with that team. In fact, he spent his career with only one franchise, and they've actually switched divisions. Have they? In the NFC West is where he played. And then in the whatever year it was, I'm going to give away the team. Okay, so he played in the NFL for 14 seasons, led it twice in yards for his position, and he's in the Hall of Fame.
What position?
He went to Tulsa, retired in 1989, and he's a wide receiver. NFC West. Made the All Decade 1980s team, a Walter Payton Man of the Year, and a 7 time Pro Bowler, which I think I said. The Oklahoma native became a West Coast legend.
So he played in San Francisco.
Is it what's his name?
It's not. It's not. It's not Steve Largent. It's
Is it Steve?
is it
What? Hell?
Steve Largent.
Steve Largent?
It is Steve Largent.
Okay. Hey, good job,
Yo,
Justin.
is that back to back episodes? Did I got something right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
We
I
gotta
think
build
so.
that. You gotta build that continuity.
You're gonna have to add flames as an edit for me anytime I get this.
I've got another one for you guys if you haven't come up with another.
Okay.
All right, let's do
This is
it.
a current player from Cedar Grove, New Jersey. Yep, he's yep. That's like probably like I don't know within an hour from my home probably. Okay, dox myself. So he was drafted at Miami, Florida in the 2017 NFL Draft. He plays in the AFC North. Tight end. Newly signed extension.
Mark Andrews?
Nope.
No. Didn't he just get paid too? Could have sworn he did. Maybe I'm wrong. Plays in the NFC North. In the AFC North.
AFC, yeah. He
AFC
has
North.
a total of 1,700 yards through 5 seasons. 15 TDs. Yep.
David and Njoku.
Yep. Man, that contract is terrible.
Let's
Isn't it?
go.
Tight end's gonna be constantly overpaid now because of him.
Good
Yeah.
job.
One of my former teachers, she was like asking me about him, and I was like, "Oh, he was drafted by the Browns, worst team in the NFL." I was like 5 years ago when I was drafted. But yeah, I can't believe they throw all that money on the tight end market now is only gonna skyrocket.
So something I want to talk about that's some interesting news.
Mhm.
I was telling you guys both about it. I watched over the I think 2 days ago. I watched the Jamarcus Russell interview on the Pivot podcast, and I gotta say, man, it kind of gives you a new perspective on Jamarcus Russell because the whole narrative was biggest bust of all time in NFL history. Guy didn't care. Guy just wanted to get his money, get paid, and be out. And the way he talks about it is just really he felt personally that Oakland never truly believed in him and they didn't really set him up to succeed. And I think if we look back at it, I mean, this is just like if it wasn't Jamarcus Russell, just I told you a former number 1 overall pick, first overall, only played 3 seasons in the NFL, never got a second chance on another team, and never really dealt with major injuries. That just doesn't happen. I mean, Ryan Leaf, who was the second overall pick, got another chance. I think he played on 2 practice teams and he played for another team for 1 year, but at least he got another chance. For Jamarcus Russell never to have gotten another shot is just, I think, ridiculous. I think it's kind of a stain on the NFL a little bit because it kind of goes into, well, I don't want to, bring up race, but if it was a white quarterback, would that have happened? And I think the perfect person to compare him to is Ryan Leaf, like I just said. Another terrible quarterback. He was second to Jamarcus first overall. He was terrible his 3 seasons in San Diego, and he got another shot. Jamarcus never did. I think it's a shame. And if anybody has time, I would definitely check it out because you get to see inside of what Jamarcus Russell was really going through throughout those 3 seasons in Oakland.
Mm.
Yeah, 24-year-old that just it's crazy. I remember talking about it as a kid. Steve and I would say he stole money from the Raiders, and as a kid, I would say my brother would talk about it with me. I didn't realize at the time Jamarcus was still just 26 years old. I thought he was like 40. Now he's not even 40. He's 37, 36.
Yeah,
Wow.
36.
And it's crazy when you really think about it from that lens of like, dude, this is still a 24-year-old kid in a way, you know? He was just at college for a couple of seasons. I just been thrust into Oakland after living down south in Alabama and Louisiana his entire life. But another podcast I've been listening to is on Andrew Luck. I remember exactly where I was when Andrew Luck retired. So my room, this used to be a bedroom. My bed was right there where that is. And it's like probably like 8 or 9 o'clock. And it's summer, August 24th, 2019, 2018.
Hmm.
My brother comes in, barges up and, yo, Andrew Luck just retired. I'm like, shut up, no, he didn't. And he's like, bro, Adam Schefter just tweeted it. I was like, Andrew Luck retired? I'm like, he's 28. I'm like, he's 26, 27? Like, yeah, he's retiring. I'm like, what? And I couldn't believe, I was dumbfounded. And what I came to learn when I started listening to this podcast on The Athletic, it's an amazing. I mean, the way it was produced, the sports writing, it was a podcast, but it was a documentary without video, really. It was so well scripted. It was rehearsed. I've never listened to it. Basically, a biography of a quarterback under this lens by the Athletic Football Show, and basically it chronicles how Jim Irsay and the Colts they give up on Peyton Manning, the best player to ever play for the franchise, turned it all around, one of the 3 to 5 best quarterbacks ever. They gave up on him after 1 year, and he was trying to do everything he could to come back to be the red zone quarterback and let Dan Orlovsky be the quarterback for the rest of the snaps. They cut him after drafting Andrew Luck, and Payton was even playing like, yo, like, I'll be the backup for a few years, I'll help him out. Andrew Luck was that type of generational quarterback. Robert Griffin was one of the best quarterback prospects, number 2 overall pick because of him. Luck comes in as a rookie, 7-game winning drives. His coach had cancer as a rookie. They still made the playoffs with Bruce Arians. And basically, what you come to realize is Andrew Luck was another one of the guys. He was built like a linebacker, and he played like one. As smart as he was, absolute genius. He loved the competitiveness. He loved the physical nature of the game. And after his first 3 years, he played every single game. Injuries started to pile up. It was the shoulder. It was, oh my God, in his midsection, a terrible injury. They were comparing it to like a car accident where he ruptured, I forget exactly what it was. It was so bad that he was peeing blood. And he missed the 2017 season. He barely played in 2016. He comes back in 2018, has a career year, 40 touchdown passes. Would have been the MVP if it weren't for Patrick Mahomes. Losing Mahomes in the playoffs. That's the last game he ever played. You come to realize, one, the Colts' awful offensive line it's ironic that his last name's Luck, and right after he retired because he was dealing with ankle and calf injuries, they were nagging, and he was just talking about how the whole process of injury, pain, rehab, over and over again. He wouldn't make that vow to himself again. He had made life-changing money at that point. Why would he keep playing if it's soaking and taking all of the joy of the game away from him? And as fans, we knew none of this because Andrew Luck wouldn't talk about it. He wouldn't speak about any of that. And it's amazing to me how, as a fan, we never saw that reality. His teammates didn't even know that night he was retiring until fans saw it and they're screaming to the players. And like, that he's not retiring. And then when it was leaked, Luck had to tell them in post game after they played, I think the Eagles in preseason,
Mhm.
had his press conference, and the next day got pushed to that night. And I never appreciated Andrew Luck. I never realized as a kid, I was 9 years old when he was drafted, how that was the best quarterback prospect since Peyton Manning. And so if you're going
Yeah.
to replace Peyton with anybody, it might be the next guy in line. He's already been in the NFL 14 years. He's 35 years old. And like I said before, it's ironic that the Colts offensive line 3 years later is so elite. Quentin Nelson, Ryan, Brandon Smith at tackle, you got Ryan Kelly at center. You legitimately got 2 to 3 Pro Bowlers in the offensive line. One of the best, most dominant interior. They got everything. And that comes right after Luck retired. They never got to play Quentin Nelson. In fact, Quentin Nelson, after year one to Chris Ballard's office, like, we need Andrew Luck back. And Ballard's like, bro, like, the, the, the joy of football is taken away from him because of injuries.
Yeah.
Partially because of his reckless nature, but also because they couldn't draft offensive linemen. And they're throwing money and picks around like there's no tomorrow, as if it was like fantasy football and Trent Richardson, a 34-year-old Andre Johnson, instead of addressing the offensive line. And like I said, it's ironic that Luck never had the O line until the very day he retired. And once they built that offensive line, they couldn't find the darn quarterback. And now they're with Matt Ryan. I think Matt Ryan's a good fit for them. But in 2 years, is he going to be the Colts quarterback? If that's not the case, if he's not, they went through Brissett, Rivers, Wentz, Ryan, on to the next one. It's 5 quarterbacks in 6 years.
Yeah, it's pretty sad because you look at the Colts team today and you're like, man, they're just a quarterback away or an elite quarterback away, and they had it. The year that he retired, they were probably a Super Bowl contender with him under center.
Easily.
You know,
Quinn
so
Nelson was a rookie.
it's such a big what if story, and I used to always hope, especially like when Calvin Johnson retired. There was speculations. He's not going to stay retired. He's going to find his way to New England. Like it's always going to happen. That's the story. And when Andrew Luck retired, you're like, okay, he's going to take a year off. No way he's going to be out of the game. This guy's so young. How old was he when he retired? It's 29.
29.
29. It was like you see quarterbacks dominating right now at 36, 37. With the O line that he has, he had the opportunity to dominate it for longer than that. I would say if he had still been in the league, he'd already have a Super Bowl title under his belt right now.
I mean, this was a guy that when he was before he was even drafted, people were saying this is a bona fide Hall of Famer. Before he was even drafted, before he even stepped foot on a freaking NFL football field, analysts and scouters were saying this guy will be a Hall of Famer. And he showed up and showed out and showed his potential. Never got protected correctly by that offensive line.
Never had a
It's
running
just
game.
or the running game, and they got the running game right after he left too with Jonathan Taylor. I mean, this guy, I think he was like Justin said. I think he would have definitely, if not won a Super Bowl, he would have definitely been competing for Super Bowls. I think he would have ended his career with at least 2 Super Bowl wins. He would have won MVP if not multiple times.
Mhm.
I mean, 29. He's like literally smack dab in the middle of his prime. And even today in NFL, we see quarterbacks playing until their late 30s. So he had years to go. But and I heard about this when he retired a couple months after he retired on why he retired. And he said, "Man, dude, people don't understand when you get injured like that, and then you have to rehab, and then you work your ass off for a year, 8, 9 months to get back, just to get injured again and have to do it all over again. So that means you don't get to enjoy your off season because you're always in the gym working out and rehabbing. You don't get to spend time with your family. You don't get to be on the practice field with your teammates to build that chemistry even more. And the joy of the game, I would imagine, gets torn out from you. And it just sucks that a man that was arguably, I think we would have been talking about him as a top 5 quarterback right now in the league. I have no doubt about that.
Smack dab in the
It
middle of that
yeah,
discussion with young
it
guys and the old
sucks.
heads.
Yeah, it sucks.